time we see the 750-gallon Lake Malawi aquarium before we add the new fish, all those halves and peacocks. Really going to diversify the stock. Man, I love this tank. This is going to be a fun one. Not only are we going to put in a bunch of work on the 1,200-gallon Lake Tanganyika tank that I'm standing in front of, this 10-foot long behemoth, but we're also going to do a little tank theory crafting because, rest in peace, we have removed Megadesk, and that has opened up a big area, and I want to talk about the plans for that, as well as the changes that it makes to other plans. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I want to get your feedback on some ideas, see what you guys think, and of course, we're going to get some projects done. It's tank building season. Let's go! And so just like the Lake Malawi aquarium, we're going to take one look here at the 1,200-gallon Amazonian Islands, 1,200-gallon Amazon build, sort of a community Amazon build, because we have a lot of fish in the grow outs for this tank. It's really going to spice this tank up. Right now we have this huge colony of Spheni geophagus and angelfish mixed in with a few Severum, cory cats, plecos, things like that, some Acara, and of course we have some schooling species up here, but we really need to mix up some intermediate species, some fast swimmers, some other colors, something to blend in with these bigger cichlids, with these Severum, the Acara, the angels, and the geos. And I have just the fish growing out right now, quarantining / growing out, and they're gonna be ready to move over to this tank pretty soon. So just want to get a little more footage of the tank before we add all those other fish, because I think this tank is really going to be popping once we get them moved in. And so not only are we going to get some mega progress in on the 1,200-gallon Lake Tanganyika tank, we're going to finish removing Megadesk, and we're going to talk about what's going to go in place of Megadesk. And it's actually one big thing and one small thing. Well, it's the end of an era. Megadesk is on his way to his new home. Rest in peace, Megadesk, circa 2017 to 2025. You did a great job. You served the Aquarium and Main Fish Basement well, and it's time to move to a new era. All right, it is finally time to get this filter box all built and fiberglassed out and ready to go for the 1,200-gallon Lake Tanganyika tank. Because as you can see, the inside of the tank is pretty much all done, filled. Once I get this done, I just do fiberglassing there, and then we're epoxy painting and waterproofing this bad boy. So I'm going to put a bunch of work in on that right now, and I call this tank building season because the weather's really nice and I can open all the windows, have fresh air coming through here, and not only is it better to work outside where I'm doing all my cuts and everything, but when I start doing fiberglassing, I can put the big fan there in the door and just blow in tons of fresh air, so I don't lose brain cells doing all that fiberglassing, because anyone knows when I build my tanks, I like to do a lot of fiberglassing. So 2-3 layers on the bottom, and then a minimum of a layer on the flat areas where there's screws, and then of course we triple it up on the seams. So coming up real soon, we're going to do a rescape on this 600-gallon tank. So this is 6 feet wide, and it's actually 4 feet deep, so it's really deep. And what I did is I have that huge wall of root at the back, but I've never been able to get it lit properly to where you can really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break apart that root wall, and I'm going to make a much more intricate aquascape with the wood, bringing it in different parts of the aquarium, moving it all throughout. So two things, so we can get more lighting back there, because no matter what I've tried to do with the lighting in the back, I either oversaturate it and it still doesn't light up inside that root wall, and it just grows, you know, way too much of everything, or like it is now, you just can't see when the fish are back there. So we're going to modify this scape so that it works better with the tank being 4 feet front to back. And we have all these barbs and really fast swimming species, so we're going to make an environment that is more interesting to see them swimming through. Like, so we have the sort of the island in the middle, and then the two raised up areas with the caves, and every cave complexes in them. But we're gonna do better than that. We're gonna basically build these up further forward. We're gonna create some arches over, some stuff for swim through, and we're gonna get that cleared up all the way to the back so we can actually properly view the whole tank, and again, like I said, just create more cool territory to watch these fish swimming in and out of, while also, you know, trying to keep it natural looking. So what is DIY tank season? Well, it's really DIY tank building season, and I'm going to explain, you know, what that means. You know, why is it now versus some other time? Why is it my favorite time of the year? And what projects are we going to be working on this season? So just to start off with, the reason it's this time of the year is because this is the best weather for building tanks. There's multiple reasons. So I like to do a lot of the cuts outside, keep all that sawdust and everything outside. Obviously you need decent weather for that. You might think springtime has that kind of weather, but it rains a lot. So it's really the autumn, where I live, is the absolute best time of year to do this. And when you're inside doing fiberglassing, you need to have a lot of airflow blowing through, you know, because as you guys know, I can't afford to lose any brain cells, you know. I'm rough with what I've got right now. I can't afford to lose any. So we got to keep that fresh air moving through, even with the respirator on. You know, when you're doing a lot of fiberglass work, you can really stink up the place. And we all know that fiberglassing, that's the key to the strength, you know. The epoxy coat is amazing stuff as long as the structure underneath it doesn't move. And fiberglass helps make that a reality. So that's what it is, and that's why it's now. And I think, you know, why is it my favorite time of year? That's obvious. I like building aquariums. But the other thing is, what are we going to do this season? Well, we've got some awesome stuff in the works. So let me walk you around the whole aquarium fish basement, and we'll take a look at what we got on the docket for this tank building season. So it goes without saying, the 1,200 gallon lake Tanganyika tank, this will probably be the first one up and ready. It's actually very close, even though it looks like a lot of raw wood, it is very far along. Not next to what we're going to build, but also on the docket is this 12 footer. You can see a wood base down there. That is the length of the tank. So that's this wood base here. You can see going around. There's a lot of stuff on top of it, I realize. There's a saltwater grow out tub and all that, but easy enough to move all that stuff. And we are going to have a 12-foot long aquarium up here against this wall. And I got some big plans for this one. I'm thinking overhead filtration, lots of plants, different levels. It's going to be pretty awesome. Plus, I think the livestock and the ecosystem going there is going to be a hit, because it's a really cool setup. I know I love it. I think everyone else will too. So I don't want to spoil it, but that's going to be, you know, on the docket for this fall. Now, as we pass through from the annex into the fish basement, we have these marine tanks here, and now they're going to get reset and everything. But the reason I point them out is because as we come in to the main fish basement area, we have the old Predator Bay 2000. Well, we know all of these fish for the 1,500 gallon system are going into the 2000, so this is going to be our new saltwater community lagoon aquarium. So that's another big reset in and of itself. Yeah, Megadesk is gone. We know that, rest in peace Megadesk. We just opened up a very large area here, and as you can imagine, I have plans for this area. So what's going to happen here, that's a 3x3 cube. That's not going to stay there. That was trying to spec something out, but it won't fit. So what is actually going to go here is a 6.5 foot by 6.5 foot cube. So we'll have a big cube here. We're going to leave this space over here all open. We're going to take the 3x3 cube and we're going to bring it around over here. So right now we have a lot of grow out tanks over here. So all the grow out tanks will be moving, and that 3-foot cube will fit right there where those 3-foot tanks are. So that'll be all set. And then, you know what? Well, we're talking about, you know, how the sausage is made here in the aquarium basement. This is another grow out. This is where we have the African peacocks and haps. That's going to stay for this season. That's not going to go away. But eventually, this is going to be one more big tank here, all the way down to here. But what is going to happen is this is all salt underneath here. This big pile of stuff is all salt. It's just some equipment sitting on top of it. This is all going to get used up when we reset the 2,000 gallon lagoon aquarium here. And all this equipment here is going to get moved back into the back area where the other equipment is. So we're going to have this all opened up with just the 3-foot cube going here. So what does that leave us with? Well, in terms of new builds, we're going to be finishing the 1,200 gallon Lake Tanganyika tank. After that tank, we're going to go over here to the 6.5 by 6.5 foot cube aquarium. And then if there's time, we'll pivot back to the 12-foot tank in the annex, the last tank there, but I would say that's iffy. Now in terms of resets, we've got the 2,000 gallon getting reset into the lagoon aquarium. The 6.5 by 6.5 foot tank will be set up for the first time with new livestock, so that's going to be awesome. And the fish going in there are so sweet. I think you guys are going to love them just like I do. And then of course we're going to be resetting the 1,500 gallon system, and basically think mini Predator Bay over there, you know. And then lastly, the 3-foot cube, which also I think is going to be an awesome one. I don't want to give it away just like the 12-footer, but it's going to be cool. And then of course we're going to free up all that space over there by moving all the equipment back into the other room, getting that all done up nice. And then throughout the, you know, the whole autumn and winter, going to work on beautifying everything. So get everything cleaned up. You see a lot of stuff sitting on the floor. That's all going away as it gets used up in these big builds. And get everything cleaned up. And of course, we're going to start going and beautifying all the aquariums. You know, getting the fronts, you know, getting proper veneers on them to, you know, to spruce up the look, you know, beyond just the painted wood. So that's a lot to get done during this tank building season. But you know what? I'm game to give it a try. Hopefully you guys are interested to follow along, because it's going to be plenty of things to do. But for now, let's go ahead and jump back onto that 1,200 gallon Lake Tanganyika tank, get that filter box done, so we can then get that last inside panel in, and then it's going to be time to start fiberglassing. So we made a good amount of progress here on the filter box, but I have run out of material, so that's where I will stop for right now. I'll calculate how much more material I need to make it high enough to where the overflow is going to be, and I can take you over here to the Amazonian Islands build. You can see the overflow there from the filter box. Let's see, maybe, yeah, there we go. So we're going to be doing the same thing over on the other one. So I'll take a few measurements, figure out how many more 2x4s we need, and then we'll get those all glued and screwed. Since these boards are stacked on top of each other, they need to be fully fiberglass so that we have a solid surface for the epoxy to go on. You can see I already fiberglassed the lower part because I wouldn't be able to reach it if I waited until I built it all the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and fiberglass the next section, and I'm going to go ahead and start fiberglassing some of the inside areas. Now on the inside here, you see how we have that stacked wall. Rather than fiberglass that wall like I did over there, I went ahead and just cut another piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and that will just be screwed up against that, so it'll basically be like the same as the other walls. So same kind of seam, and that'll make it easier to fiberglass and waterproof. As far as fiberglass goes, I've got plenty, so it's just a matter of making sure I have enough resin, and yeah, then we will make sure we have all the windows and doors open, and we will start fiberglassing this beast. And anyone who's seen any of my other builds knows that once the fiberglassing is done, the rest of it goes quick. We get it painted, we get the glass installed, the glass is right on the other side on the back there, and we get rocking and rolling, and we get a 1,200 gallon Lake Tanganyika ecosystem aquascape started on the inside. That's always fun building that out, and I got a lot of plans for this one, so it's gonna be good times. So I'm gonna get a cut list and some more epoxy resin. We're gonna get this bad boy done. Okay, so expect a ton of progress on the 1,200 Tanganyika tank in the next few weeks, because that's basically getting fast-tracked now. I'm going to be rocking and rolling on that build because I really want to start that giant 6.5 foot by 6.5 foot cube aquarium that I've always wanted to build a tank like that. I think it's going to be awesome. I'll show you, I already have the glass, and I'll show you where the glass came from and how I got that, and how that excites me as well because it keeps cost in check on the build, as well as just getting the whole aquarium basement all situated, getting a lot of stuff cleaned up, getting the lagoon aquarium finally up and running, and resetting those other ones. I'm just pumped for all of this. There's no shortage of projects. I could probably be building tanks for 6 months straight, and resetting tanks and everything. Still wouldn't run out of stuff to do. No worries about that. And you know, we got other things coming too. We're gonna do that rescape on the 600 Asian jungle. So no shortage of good stuff. So I'm gonna stop talking, get into writing a cut list, and and get back to working. So thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you guys soon.